The Adventure of the Three Students. One morning, the great detective Sherlock Holmes had a visitor. The visitor was Professor Holmes, who taught Greek at Cambridge University. Holmes was very upset. He needed Sherlock Holmes' help. The problem is this, Mr. Holmes. The final exams are tomorrow and someone has copied the exam papers. Someone is trying to check. I must find out who it is. Can you help me? First, tell me exactly what happened, said Holmes. When did you notice the paper had been touched? They were on my desk 2 hours ago, said Professor Holmes. I left my office for about an hour. When I got back, I noticed that the papers were on my floor, so I came straight here. Does anyone else have the keys to your office? Asked Holmes. I have only 2 keys, mister. My butler has 1 and I have the other, said Holmes. I trust my butler completely. He was very upset when I told him what had happened. May I have a look at your office? Asked Holmes. Suddenly, Holmes and his friend Dr. Watts carefully checked the professor's office. Holmes was especially interested in the carpet. He found some mud on the carpet as well as some pieces of pencil. He also found some mud and some scratches of Professor Holmes' desk. Holmes checked the window. It was too small for a man to peek through. Holmes went outside and tried to look, and he had to stand on tiptoes. Did any of your students visit you today? Asked Holmes. Just one, replied Holmes. Mr. Desk came by today to ask questions. The test was on my desk, but it was rolled up tightly. I don't think he knew the roll of papers was the test, but all the students passed by often. You see, each student has a room on the floor about my office. It's possible someone saw the roll of papers on my desk. How many students take your class, Professor? Asked Holmes. Only 3. Tell me about them, Mr. Kickfries on the Grace alone and jumper. It's only lucky 18. Mr. Dawson, the 3rd point is from India. Greek is not his best class, I think. The first floor student is Mr. Mercury. Very bright but lazy. He nearly got kicked out of school his first year because of a gambling scandal. I'd like to meet the 3 students, said Holmes. This case will be easy to solve, he thought. Please tell me what you think so far, said Holmes. It's simple, replied the detective. The checks out the papers by accident, then he took a chance. When entering your office, he started to copy the pages. When he heard you coming, he hid behind curtains. When you left to come to see me, he escaped. Goodness. That Professor Holmes was hiding in my office while I was there? Exactly, answered the detective. Now let's meet your students. Professor Holmes took Holmes and Watson upstairs to the students' room. So when he met the first 2 students, Giggles and Dust, Holmes asked each if he could borrow a pencil. He broke each pencil and then he kept some pieces and tried to match them with the pieces found in Holmes' room. The 3rd student would not let them. He shot at them to go away. He said he wanted peace and quiet to study for an exam. Holmes did not mind. He simply asked Holmes how tall Mr. Mercury was. Holmes told him that Mercury was taller than Dust, but not as tall as he could. Professor Holmes was worried. Holmes had not yet solved the crime. The exam is tomorrow, and the chat has still not been caught. He exclaimed. I don't have enough time to make up a new exam. Don't worry, Professor, said Holmes. Calm down and get some sleep. Everything will be settled tomorrow morning before the exam. The next morning, when Watson got up, Holmes was already out. When he got back, he asked Watson to hurry to Professor Holmes' office with him. On the way, Holmes showed his friend some mud. It matched the kind left in Holmes' office perfectly. Watson was amazed. Where did you find that? He asked. I'll tell you in just a minute, answered Holmes. He liked to keep secret. In a few minutes, they were at Holmes' office. Thanks goodness you're here, said Holmes. Professor, you can give the exam. I've found the chat, said Holmes. Please ask your butler to comment. The butler looked very worried. Everyone looked at him. He looked at the floor. It's time to tell the truth, said Holmes. I can't tell you anything, cried the butler. Then I'd like to speak to the 2nd floor students I met last night, Professor Holmes, said the detective. Holmes brought in the tall young man. You're on Yuki, Chris, asked Holmes. Yes, sir, Mr. Chris. Please tell us why you copied the Greek exam papers. Chris looked very frightened. He looked at the butler from the butler looked away. You don't need to answer, young man. Just tell me if I make a mistake, says Holmes. Yesterday afternoon, you returned to your your room for the track. You were carrying your track shoes on the way. You passed Professor Soap's office window. You are so tall you could see the papers on his desk. You came inside and went into his office. You sat down and put your track shoes on the desk. Then you copied the test paper. You heard the professor at the door. You took your shoes and hid behind the curtains. But your shoes left mud and scratched on the desk. All of them all fell on the floor. I found some mud near the track. Am I right so far? Yes, said Chris and looked down at the floor. What? Cried Mr. Jones. Oh no, said the butler. Holmes turned toward the butler. And what fruit did you play? He asked. I left the young man out. You see, I was Mr. Gickery's father's butler. When Gickery's father died, I promised to take care of his son, said the butler. Mr. Jones, I apologize, said Gickery, handing him an envelope. I wrote this letter to you last night. I wanted to give it to you this morning before the exam. This letter accompanied by terrible mistake. Good, said Holmes. We solved the mystery. You see, Professor Jones, there was no need to panic. It's time for breakfast. Watson, let's go. He looked very frightened. He looked at the butler, but the butler looked away. You don't need to answer, young man. Just tell me if I make a mistake, said Holmes. Yesterday afternoon, you returned to your room for the train. You were carrying your lectures on the way. You passed Professor Soap's office window. You were so tall you could see the papers on his desk. You came inside and went into his office. You sat down and put your lectures on the desk, and you copied the test papers. You heard the professor at the door. You took your shoes and hid behind the curtains, but your shoes left mud and scratched on the desk. All of them mud fell on the floor. I found the same mud near the track. Am I right so far? Said Chris and looked down at the floor.
Okay, book 5. What's the title?
The Adventure of the Three Students.
Okay, who visited Sherlock Holmes?
The visitor was Professor Soames, who taught Greek at Cambridge University.
What problem does Professor Soames tell Sherlock? Soames.
Some final exams are tomorrow, and someone has copied the exam paper. Someone is trying to.
시험 왜 지금 헷갈리는데 옛날에 어떤 그 소설이 이걸 좀 다르게 바꾼 거 소설이야. 그 소설 주인공이 누구냐면은 셜록 홈즈. 이름 바꿔놔가지고.
그럼 뭐 홈즈는 홈즈 뭐 이런 거예요?
What does Holmes say?
First, tell me exactly what happened, said Holmes.
And?
When did you notice the paper had been touched?
Right. What did the professor notice when he got back?
He noticed that the papers were on the floor.
Page 8. How many keys does the professor have?
He had only 2 keys.
Who has the key?
His butler has one and he had the other.
What is Holmes especially interested in?
Holmes was especially interested in the carpet.
What did he find on the carpet?
He found some mud on the carpet as well as some pieces of pencil.
Okay, page 10. Which student visited the professor?
Just one. Mr. Das came by today to ask the questions.
Why do the students pass by often?
Because each student has a room on the floor above his office. It's possible someone saw the old papers on his desk.
힘을.
근데 그런 거면 그냥 답만 적어서 가지고 그렇게 티나게 범행을 하지.
What are the 3 students' names in the professor's class?
Mr. Gilchrist, Mr. Das, and Mr. Munch.
Why did Mr. McLaren almost get kicked out of school?
Because of a gambling scandal.
Okay, page 12. What did the third try to copy?
He started to copy the pages.
Okay. What did Holmes say the thief did when he heard the professor coming?
He hid behind the curtains when you left to come to see me. He escaped. 근데 그거 안 들키나?
Why did Holmes keep some of the pieces from the pencil sharpening?
He kept some of the pencil and tried to match them with the piece found in Soames' room.
Why did Mr. McLaren shout at them to go away?
Because he said he wanted peace and quiet to study for the math exam.
Page 14. Why did the professor say he was still worried?
The exam is tomorrow, and the host had not yet solved the crime. The exam is tomorrow, and the child has still not been caught.
Did he have enough time to make a new exam?
Yes, he don't have enough time to make.
What did Holmes tell the professor?
Don't worry, Professor. Slow down and get some sleep. Everything will be settled tomorrow morning before the exam.
What did Holmes show Watson?
Holmes showed his friend some mud. It matched the kind left in Soap's office perfectly.
What is special about the mud?
Kind left in Soap's office perfectly.
Okay, page 16. What does Holmes tell the professor?
Professor, you can give the exam. I found the child, said Holmes. Please ask your butler to come in.
Who looked very worried?
The butler looked very worried.
Who did Holmes want to speak to?
He liked to speak to the second floor students he met last night.
What's his name?
Mr. Gilchrist.
Right. What did he ask Mr. Gilchrist?
Miss, are you Gilchrist? Mr. Gilchrist, please tell us why you copied the great exam papers.
Page 18. How did Gilchrist look?
Gilchrist looked very frightened.
What was Gilchrist carrying on the way to his room?
Yesterday afternoon, he returned to his room for the track. He was carrying his track shoes.
What did Gilchrist put on the desk?
He sat down and put his track shoes on the desk.
What did the shoes leave on the desk?
Mud and scratch on the desk.
Right, page 20. What did the butler say was his part?
He let the young man out. And he was Mr. Gilchrist's father's butler. When Gilchrist's father died, he promised to take care of his son.
Right, 공모자였어 이제. What did Gilchrist hand to the professor?
Handing him an envelope.
What did he say in the letter?
He confessed my terrible mistake.
Okay, his terrible mistake에 대해서 he confessed.
자백했다.
Okay. What does Holmes say to Watson?
Let's go. It's time for breakfast, Watson. Let's